Nestled within Wyoming's Teton Valley, amidst a landscape that you thought only existed in Bob Ross paintings, Jackson Hole is a small town known for its ski slopes, its baffling name, and what seems to be an absurd number of stores selling taxidermy animals. Or at least that's what Google tells me. I wouldn't know, I've never been to Jackson Hole. In fact, I've never even been within 1,000 miles of it. I don't know anyone who lives there, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't even point it out on a map. And yet, while I was home for the holidays, the first thing me and my family did after waking up every morning was put on this live stream of Jackson Hole's town square. We made our breakfast, we read the paper, and all the while in the background we watched this sleepy town on the other side of the world quietly wake up in real time. If this seems crazy to you, just consider that at any given moment, at least 200 other people around the world were watching this with us. And even throughout Christmas Day itself, thousands more would do the same. This is the Jackson Hole livestream, and in this video I'm hoping to explain why anyone would want to keep coming back to it. On July 20th, 2016, as part of an effort to boost tourism, the Jackson Hole tourism website See Jackson Hole started their journey into the world of live streaming. Unfortunately, they couldn't get League of Legends to work, and so instead they opted to set up and stream a small network of webcams around the Teton Valley. The idea, of course, being that if people could see the natural beauty of the Teton Valley on their own terms, in real time, they might be more willing to stick a pin on it. One camera was positioned over a ski lodge, another over a quiet patch of farmland, and another focused on a stick in the ground. You know, your average country attractions. Since then, they've been running near continuous footage of the Teton Valley sites for almost 4 years. Assuming you're watching this before Morlocks have risen and razed Jackson Hole to the ground, if you open a new tab, you should be able to see it for yourself right now. Amidst all of these streams though, none captured the public's imagination like the concisely titled Jackson Hole, Wyoming, USA Town Square Livecam CJH.com. This economical view of the town's Central Park from above a local pizzeria. Before the end of 2016, this particular livestream would catch the attention of YouTube's mercurial recommendation algorithm, and like bass-boosted remixes of Childish Gambino's Redbone, would inexplicably pop up on people's subscription feeds around the world. This started a ball rolling, and within a few months it would see mainstream coverage in publications like Forbes and The Verge. Without access to the alchemical formulae of YouTube's analytics, it's hard to pinpoint why this stream took off so spectacularly, but there was something about this little corner of a little town halfway across the world that seemed to appeal to people. A lot of people. At its peak, the Town Square livestream was attracting upwards of 2,000 people at any given time, many of whom, like me and my family, would watch regularly. And despite the town frequently looking like a Charlie Brown Christmas special, despite its impressive light displays and the foreground to background reach of its evergreen forests, this wasn't just a seasonal thing. Just as thousands of tourists descend on the town's slopes all year round, so too did thousands of people find their way to this live stream, most chaperoned in by the YouTube algorithm and left, aimless and confused, staring at traffic on an intersection on the other side of the world. There's initially an element of Truman Show-esque unreality to this stream, as if at any moment you'll find someone breaking character and bumping up against the sky in the distance, or a boom mic dropping into frame. I think there's an expectation that if you're looking at something through a lens, something interesting is bound to happen, that someone is about to fall into that nearby drain, or maybe the nearby Yellowstone Park will finally erupt in the background. The internet has conditioned us to believe that footage like this only ever ends in payoff, with a cry laugh emoji and the call to like, comment and subscribe. The Jackson Hole Town Square livestream is particularly notable, I think, because it doesn't really look like most things on YouTube. It isn't shot in crisp HD from a drone-mounted iPhone hovering above the Teton Valley skyline, but instead framed through the smeared Vaseline resolution of a Crime Watch CCTV camera. It doesn't ask for your subscriptions or your likes, it doesn't stop to advertise Raid Shadow Legends when the traffic starts heating up, and you have to watch it for a hell of a long time if you want to see anyone fall over. For the most part, it just exists. While making this video, I tried to see if anything controversial had happened to the Jackson Hole live streams over the years. You would think at some point maybe someone would get their bum out for the camera or parade a PewDiePie banner across the intersection, but touch wood, it hasn't. With the exception of a dancing police officer or two and this guy's nasal cavity, Jackson Hole is presumably just as sleepy now as it was before it had a live stream. It's nice to have something so passive and calming always available in the background. I think one of the main reasons me and my family watch it is because it represents such a break from the usual background noise. This intersection, framed between thriving tourist businesses and the still mountains beyond, is a warm, familiar kind of idyllic. Besides this mildly satanic-looking arch made out of discarded antlers, there are no gimmicks or surprises. It's just a nice snapshot of what is presumably an equally nice place. I think this is why the Town Square stream, in particular, has taken off, because it isn't burdened with the constant interest of showing you something new. Instead, it's just a concise, easily accessible snapshot of the everyday we're already familiar with. You can look through your TV as if it were the unwashed, slightly muggy window of a coffee shop and see what people on the other side of the world are up to, even if you really can't tell much besides which cardinal direction they're headed in. This guy could be on his way to a rave just as much as this guy could be about to crash the global stock market. That's kind of the beauty of it. Just like traditional people watching, it's entirely passive and fleeting. There's no concern with keeping up or engaging. It's nothing but pleasant. I've talked a lot on this channel about Norwegian slow TV. The TV shows that broadcast long, unedited footage of boat rides and knitting. And the Jackson Hole stream is definitely bred of the same stuff. It's a dull, meditative retreat from the usual things you might see on your TV. As Nathan Heller put it on The New Yorker, instead of drowning out its viewers' inner lives, slow television seems to want to be a backdrop that can give rise to its own reflections. A slow TV program is like a great view you encounter on vacation. It's always there, impervious, but it gains meaning and a story depending on what it conjures in your head. Slow TV isn't a substitute for Eastenders, just like Jackson Hole isn't a substitute for the latest Jenna Marbles video, but it's there when you want it, whether as a brief, thoughtful connection with life elsewhere, or just something mildly interesting to put on in the background while you, organise your Beyblade collection. Whatever it is you do for fun. And if, for whatever reason, you do want more action in your one-camera live stream of an intersection in Wyoming, there's the live chat room, which functions as a kind of runaway game of I Spy, where people shout out what they see with several seconds of delay. Over time, this chat room has accumulated a small, meme culture of its own, where people point out red cars like an impatient child in the backseat of a family sedan. Although, these days, even that seems pretty sleepy by YouTube comment section standards. Like I say, it's peaceful. Not a lot happens here, and that's the appeal. If there is one downside to the whole stream, that is, if we really wanted to be cynical about it, we could mention the money aspect. This stream, as positive as it may be, is still ultimately a vehicle for Teton County to advertise themselves to the world, and in that sense, it isn't really bound to any ideas of public interest. If Jackson Hole ever starts to turn sour, if gangs of marauders begin parading down the street in leather jackets, or should the neighbouring Victor ever co-opt the stream to advertise their own town, the stream will become unprofitable and subsequently cease to exist. Unfortunately, these webcams will only continue to stream for as long as it bolsters the image of Jackson Hole, and it's hard to ignore that we are already seeing a decline in viewership. As the press coverage has slowed down and the meme appeal has died out, See Jackson Hole has settled with increasingly niche audiences. Their other streams, like This View of the Valley, very much the album track of Jackson's live streaming experiment, are now lucky to get more than 10 viewers at a time. Maybe, in another few years, the views will hit zero and these streams will cease to exist altogether. Until then though, Jackson Hole Town Square is a safe pair of hands. The world of live streaming is a continuous stream of heated gamer moments and hot takes, but Jackson Hole is this weird outlier, the little town that could, giving us a cheeky glimpse out from the coffee shop window, or I guess in this case the pizza shop window, whenever we want it. Like the best of slow TV, it gives back exactly as much as you put in. And failing that, it makes a neat screensaver.